Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time checking in, please click that subscribe button down below. And remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel. And I am heading off to motorcycle school. It's just a basic rider course for basically getting your endorsement to ride a motorcycle. I am heading off to this training course, and I will kind of recap as this goes along and kind of share with you what the process is like. So stay tuned. I can't do a whole lot of recording in the training course itself because that information is proprietary for the training course. Alright, so after day one of training, they had me on a Harley Davidson Street 500, which is a smaller Harley. I have to say, what a sobering experience. So here I'm at Harley Davidson in Scottsdale. It's crazy to think that I was about to go and buy a touring bike from Harley with no skill set whatsoever. I think I could have done it and learned just fine on my own time, but some of the things as far as like emergency braking and stuff like that, I'm much happier doing it on one of their bikes. That if you were to drop it, isn't really a big deal. I didn't drop anything. We did have two guys run into a wall. One of them just kind of came around a corner a little too hot and just basically applied the brakes, locked up the front tire, hit the wall, relatively low speed. Another guy somehow he whiskey throttled it. I don't really know how because I wasn't facing him when he did it. I heard it. And he just smashed into these plastic barriers really at some speed, and put the whole thing right up on top of the barriers. I didn't have anything like that. A couple little times that I got a little squirrely, just things that are to be expected. For the most part, there was actually a really small girl that's in this course. She did great. Some bigger guys. Everybody really did a pretty good job. 6 in the morning till basically 11:30, we were on the bikes doing a bunch of the techniques, and then they had us in classroom for the afternoon, which basically is reinforcing a lot of those techniques. So day 2, going back for more. It's 5:30 in the morning. New drills to go through today, some new exercises. By lunch we should have our road test completed, and then in the afternoon there will be the written test. Alright, so I just got done with the road test portion of this exam. I don't know my score yet. It's 11 o'clock. They told us to go to lunch, come back at noon. It's brutal here in Arizona, so if you're going to do this in Arizona, drink a lot of water. I think I did pretty good out of my exam. We'll see what the score does. I'm going to head out for some lunch and cool off because I am just dying of heat right now. Get some beverages and go back for my written test and see how we did for that. So stay tuned. So when I got back to the classroom after our lunch break, they gave us our scores for our road test, and the road test starts out at 0 points. Basically, you start out with a clean slate, and you are allowed 21 points to be basically deducted. So if you get over 21 points, you fail. Everybody in my course passed their road test. Now for me, the things that I got dinged on were some things I kind of expected. Then a couple other things, everybody obviously has excuses. I pass, so the excuses really don't matter. But in the box where you have to basically go in and do a figure 8, I apparently went out of the box. I didn't even know that I did. I was so focused on trying to stay upright and not put a foot down in that figure 8 that I didn't even realize that I had driven out of that box. So I got dinged there. I also got dinged on my quick stops. Now the quick stop, basically you just drive straight and then you hit a set of cones and you jam on the brakes. And for me in that test, what came up was that bar on the side of the bike. It's basically just there for tipping over purposes. So if someone drops the bike, it's relatively unscathed. But in my case, that bar actually being bent from a previous drop was interfering with my braking capability. So when I would stomp that rear brake, which is 30% of your braking, I was actually stomping the piece of steel in front of my rear brake. So essentially what was happening was I was losing 30% of my rear braking. So I brought it up. They told me that in that test that it wasn't an issue, that they apparently they were telling me I wasn't even hitting my rear brake, but I know I felt that bar when I was hitting it, so it doesn't matter. I passed it anyways, but they did ding me saying that I went long on that stop. And then they also dinged me for going through the S curves, saying I didn't maintain enough speed going through that. And I kind of thought that might be an issue because riding the bike that I was riding on that Harley, you pretty much know if you're going too slow because you can just pick your line the whole way through, which that isn't supposed to be the case. You know, if you're going through it at the right amount of speed, you need to pick you know, your outside, inside, outside type of line. And so I kind of knew that I was probably going too slow for that. So I walked away with 17 points out of 21. Not the end of the world. I passed that. And then for my written test, I aced it. So the written test is just way easy. If you have half a brain and you weren't sleeping through class, you will pass that written test. It's really simple. So I passed the exam. I got 100%. Didn't get a single question wrong. The exam was actually way easier than I thought it would be. I don't know, just real basic stuff. If you're not sleeping through the course, everything's good to go. So I now have my Basic RiderCourse card. I'm just going to take it right to the DMV and get my motorcycle endorsement. Alright, so I left the DMV. I now have my temporary motorcycle license. That's it. So what I have to say out of this whole thing that I learned is that go to motorcycle school, get that certification through a certified instructor. I promise you that you will not regret it. The experience that I had with Team Arizona was awesome, and actually the entire course, everybody that was there was just singing praises about how great it was. A really awesome course, highly recommend it. Just my biggest takeaway from that entire course, I was ready to go and buy an 800-pound Harley Davidson after getting my learner's permit and just drive off into the, you know, you can do that. It's something that the state really allows. I actually told the riders course instructors that I feel like the state should almost mandate these rider courses, just because it's better for me as a rider. So highly recommend it. Team Arizona, 2 thumbs up. The instructors that I had, Mary, who's been apparently riding forever, old motorcycle cop, you know, years and years of riding experience, and then Tyler, they were both just fantastic. Just really incredible people, not only good instructors, but genuinely good people who seem to really care. I tell you, they really seemed to care about the riders and the riders getting better in general. So again, I just wanted to kind of wrap up the whole rider course with Team Arizona. Really great. It was certainly worth it, and I highly recommend it. So again, thank you very much for watching. Please click that subscribe button down below, and remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel. And stay tuned for where I go with what bike I get, and stay tuned for a lot of riding footage. It should be great.